So the states that get hit that were flat, it's a lot easier to come back. You guys got hurt badly. You, California, Arizona, Florida. And let me tell you something. We had to offset the damage. It was largely housing bubble in recent history, having burst. In January, housing sales were falling off the cliff the day we raised our right hand. Sales fell 12% nationwide that year, the lowest level in 40-year history. So we acted. With Harry's leadership and his colleagues, including a few Republicans, just enough needed, we passed the President's Homeowner Stabilization Plan. The Fed stepped in. After falling 30% for 36 straight months, home prices nationwide are finally showing signs of stabilization. As recently as March, home prices were still falling at a 2% rate when we were in office a month and a half. But in June and July, we saw prices finally stop plummeting, and home prices actually rose for the first time in 3 years. Existing home prices have risen 13% since January, and new home sales have bounced back a full 30%. Again, you got a long way to go back because you had such a run, which makes it harder for you all. But we also know there's a lot more we have to do. And Harry, even if we didn't know it, ain't letting us forget. Every single week. What do we mean? About once a week, around that? Every meeting. Every meeting. So folks, so after a great deal of consultation with Republican and Democratic economists, as I said, from John McCain's economists to moderate to liberal economists, and Nobel laureates like Paul Stiglitz and others, we put together and passed the Recovery and Reinvestment Act, which, as Harry pointed out, and most of the economists, including Republicans, thought was not big enough. Was not big enough. When you lose $12 trillion, $12 trillion in the economy, $789 billion, 87 ain't enough to fill the hole. So, but Harry shepherded through, which was one god-awful vote to have to take. By a factor of 2, Harry called me and said, "Joe, can you finally move Spectre?" Remember that? Spectre and I have been friends. And I said, "Arlen, this is like they talk about Missouri, like the donkey. Just put your ears back and jump, man. Come on in. Come on home." He's one of my closest friends. And he changed. But look, he got it done. These serious investments we made in the Recovery Act were meant to lift us, began to lift us, get us a couple rungs further up that ladder as we get out of the hole. Mainly, you think about it, to keep us from falling. We were in free fall. Everybody forgets it. We were in free fall in this economy. And so, and our point was to have a path to broad prosperity. Line them and, in the process, lay the new foundation blocks for a real economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't come out of this economy, this recession, on another bubble. We went on the dot-com bubble in the 80s during the Clinton, in the 90s during the Clinton administration. We did well, but the bubble burst. Then we had another bubble, a housing bubble. What did we do after World War II? We laid a firm foundation for a sustained economic recovery built on real things. Decent paying jobs, a manufacturing sector, a growing service sector, technology, advancement, trade. And it sustained us. Middle class income grew. During this last bubble, as the stock market skyrocketed, as people became incredibly wealthy, middle class people actually lost. The GDP was growing. Productivity was up 20% in 7 years. But the basic contract we made after World War II, which was that the people who produced the productivity will share in it, was forgotten. The wealthy became very wealthy, and the middle class actually fell. The middle class during that period actually lost, over that period, $2,000 in income. They didn't even hold steady. So we got to build this economy, lay the foundation blocks. That's all this one injection can do, is lay the foundation blocks for what is going to be the new economy. Barack and I said it and we meant it. If we come out of this recovery, this recession and the recovery, that leaves the middle class behind once again, then we failed. We failed. Because the strength and the power and the engine of America, the stability of America, rests upon a growing middle class. Access for people aspiring and security for those who have arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, all you got to do is give people a chance, man. My dad used to say, I don't expect the government to solve my problems, but I do expect them to understand my problem. Understand my problem. We understand the problem. There's a lot of interest out there who see their interest is not building a middle class. So folks, it'd be easier if we weren't so focused on that. But we're focused on it. We knew we had to get an infusion of resources into the economy to stop the free fall of job loss, to catch those that had already fallen. We had to bring relief to 50 states whose budgets were in gigantic difficulty, including your budget in your state, resulting in shortfalls in services and cuts in necessary essential services. Cops, firefighters, teachers. I have a deal where every single, since as Harry will tell you, the joint session, the president dubbed me with a new name, Sheriff Joe. He said, nobody messes with Joe. I made a mistake of writing a detailed memo to the president on how we should follow up on the recovery package after we passed it. At lunch, we had lunch once a week together alone. And I showed him, he said, good, do it, Joe. Never write a memo to a president, you don't want to have to. So guess what? As a consequence of that, I speak with 5 to 7 governors once a week for an hour, 8 to 15 mayors once a week for an hour. I've spoken to every single governor, including yours, at least once now. I'm back up to 30. I'm serious. And every one of them, including the Republicans who weren't for it, say to me on the phone, thank you. Thank you. We would be devastated here in Nevada, in California, in Delaware, in Massachusetts, in Florida, without this money. We're going to come out with a number I'm not prepared to give the press today, but I assure you, when we said we were going to create jobs, we're doing it. Right here in Nevada and Delaware and all across the country, I'm not going to announce the number now, but I can assure you, we have saved hundreds of thousands of teachers' jobs. That the government... All those guys who voted no or say this is a bad idea. They want to return to the good old days of Bush economics. Now, I'm not being a wise guy when I say that. I mean that seriously. Look, folks, you either one of two things. You'd have X thousand fewer teachers here, or you'd have to raise property tax. I just came from another state. I had the hard numbers we were given. State of Virginia would have had, I think it was Virginia, I've been in so many states lately, 8,000 teachers saved. Without the 8,000 teachers, property taxes would have gone up $2 billion in the state.